Once upon a time, in the bustling town of Pennyville, there lived a young squirrel named Billy. Billy was a cheerful little fellow with big dreams and even bigger ambitions. He spent his days scampering through the forest, collecting acorns and playing with his friends. One sunny morning, as Billy was busy burying his latest stash of acorns, he overheard a conversation between the wise old Professor Hoot and his friend, Mr. Fox.
Oh, did you hear about the new Acorn investment scheme?
Mr. Fox asked eagerly,
I did indeed.
replied Professor Hoot, shaking his head disapprovingly.
But remember, not all investment are wise choices. It is important to do your research and understand the risk involved.
Curious Billy approached them and asked,
What is an investment scheme?
Mr. Fox chuckled.
Well, Billy, an investment scheme is when someone promises you big in returns of your money, but it often turns out to be a scam. They lure you with the promise of easy wealth, but in reality, they are just taking your hard-earned coin.
Billy's eyes widened in alarm.
Oh no! I don't want to lose my acorns like that. How can I avoid such schemes?
Professor Hoot smiled kindly.
The key, my dear Billy, is to be cautious and skeptical. Always ask questions, seek advice from trusted sources, and never invest in something you don't fully understand.
Billy nodded, making a mental note to be wary of any too good to be true offers. As he bid farewell to Professor Hoot and Mr. Fox, he couldn't shake off the feeling of unease. He realized that if he wanted to secure his future and achieve his dreams, he needed to learn more about financial planning. After he buried his last touch of acorns, Billy went home and got some rest. In the middle of his sleep, he dreams about an enchanted forest where there existed a bustling community of animals who live harmoniously among the tall trees and babbling brooks. Billy stumbled upon a peculiar clearing he had never seen before. At its center stood an ancient oak tree, its branches stretching toward the sky as if reaching for the stars. Intrigued, Billy approached the tree and found a group of wise animals gathered around, deep in a conversation. Among them were Mrs. Goldygopper, the village treasurer, Mr. Cash Coyote, the seasoned investor, and Mrs. Penny Ant, the frugal budgeter.
Welcome, young Billy.
Greeted Mrs. Goldygopper with a warm smile.
We're discussing the secrets of financial wisdom, and we'd be delighted to have you join us.
Billy's eyes sparkled with excitement as he eagerly settled in to listen and learn from the wise animals of the forest.
Let us begin with the cornerstone of financial success planning.
Announced Mr. Cash Coyote, his deep voice resonating to the clearing.
Financial planning is like mapping out a journey. You need to know where you're going and how you will get there.
Mrs. Penny Ant nodded in agreement.
And the crucial part of planning is budgeting. You must learn to live within your means and allocate your resources wisely.
Billy listened intently, observing every word as the wise animals shared their knowledge of financial planning, budgeting, and the importance of setting goals.
But what about spending?
Asked Billy, his curiosity piqued.
How do we know when to spend and when to save?
Well, it is an art to spend wisely.
Mrs. Goldie answered.
You must distinguish between needs and wants and prioritize your spending accordingly. Remember, it is okay to treat yourself occasionally, but always think long term.
Billy learned the value of investing and saving as he went on with his education. Mrs. Penny Ant illustrated the value of setting aside money for unforeseen expenses, and Mr. Kosh Coyote told tales of the wonders of compound interest. However, just as Billy believed he had figured out the financial wisdom secrets, a shadow covered the clearing and a cunning figure slithered into the view. It was none other than Scammy the Snake, the infamous forest trickster.
Hello, hello, my friends. I couldn't help but overhear your little lesson on financial wisdom. But let me tell you that there's a quicker way to riches.
He is Scammy, his eyes gleaming with mischief. The wise animals exchanged wary glances, knowing all too well the dangers of Scammy schemes.
Be gone, scummy.
Warned Mrs. Goldcopper.
We have no need your tricks and deceit.
But Scammers would not be deterred. With honeyed words and false promises, he tried to lure the animals into his web of deception. But Billy, armed with the knowledge and wisdom he had gained from his friends, saw through Scammy scams and stood his ground,
Nice try, Scammy.
declared Billy, his voice strong and resolute.
But I know better to fall for your tricks. I've learned from the wisest animals in the forest, and I won't let you lead me astray.
Defeated Scammy slithered away into the shadows, leaving the clearing bats in the warm glow of the setting sun. And so, Billy woke up with his dreams about the enchanted forest. He carried with him the secret of financial wisdom that, by setting aside a portion of his acorn each month and investing them in a diversified portfolio, he could grow his wealth over time. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Billy set out to create his own financial plan. He diligently tracked his expenses, cutting back on the unnecessary purchases, and setting aside a portion of his acorns for emergencies. As the years went by, Billy's efforts paid off. His savings grew steadily, and he was able to achieve his dreams of building a cozy treehouse and traveling to distant lands. However, Billy soon encountered a new challenge when a mischievous raccoon named Ringo approached him with an enticing offer for insurance.
Hey there, Billy. I couldn't help but notice that you've built quite a fortune for yourself.
Said Ringo with a sly grin.
How about protecting your wealth with some insurance? It will guarantee that you never have to worry about losing your archons no matter what happens.
Billy hesitated, unsure of whether he truly needed insurance. But remembering the lesson he had learned from the enchanted forest, Billy politely declined Ringo's offer for insurance. Instead, he decided to continue focusing on building his wealth through prudent financial management and wise investments. As the years passed, Billy's reputation as the savviest squirrel in Pennyville grew far and wide. He became a role model for his fellow forest creatures, teaching them the importance of financial planning, budgeting, and avoiding scams. And so, with his newfound knowledge and the support of his friends, Billy lived happily ever after, secure in the knowledge that he was prepared for whatever financial challenges life threw his way.